Welcome to Casey Cares, the voice of Kansas City nonprofits. We share the stories of local nonprofits and the individuals who are behind them. At Casey Cares, we connect the nonprofit and the business sectors to enhance the quality of life in Kansas City for both residents and our visitors. This Casey Cares segment is brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. I'm Ruth Bombicus. Since our podcast began several years ago, we have focused on bringing on diverse nonprofits to share the important work they do in the community. Our guest today is a great example. We are casting the spotlight on Special Olympics Missouri, focused on children and adults challenged with intellectual disabilities. Serving the Show Me State for 54 years, Special Olympics provides year-round sports training, athletic competition in a variety of sports. But the Special Olympics is so much more than a sports competition. And here to tell us is Larry Linthacum, who's CEO of Special Olympics Missouri. Welcome to Casey Cares.
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you for the welcome, the introduction, and excited to be here.
Well, as I alluded to, this is about sports, but share with us what that means and what you all do.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think traditionally, folks think of when they think of Special Olympics that it's sport for those whether they think of those with intellectual disabilities or just those that might be disabled. It truly is so much more than that. Started in 1967. It's the world's largest sports organization. It's in over 172 countries. There's over 5.7 million athletes worldwide. But here in the United States, each state has their Special Olympics state underneath the branch of Special Olympics Incorporated. And Missouri is no different. There's Kansas on the Kansas side. We're here in Missouri. And we're a statewide organization. And truly, I mean, where the rubber meets the road is we want to build confidence for those with intellectual disabilities through sports. And so there is a lot of different components of that. But that is the draw. And even more so just being active. Maybe somebody had a bad experience in, third grade kickball. So maybe they don't like sports when they think of sports. But we all need to be active, whether you like kickball or not, or whether you think the world puts too much emphasis on sports. I get it. But we all need to be active. And that's something that we really encourage, not only for those with intellectual disabilities, but for those without. I mean, all of us, it truly is working together to build that confidence for those with intellectual disabilities. But there are great benefits for those that do not have disabilities, just being a part of it. As we work together, we believe we're stronger together, and we're just excited about the future and some of the things that we've got going on.
Well, you certainly have a diversity of sports, so I don't want anybody to think, it's like the top three that come to mind: football, basketball, and baseball. We'll get into that in a minute. Give us a sense in the state of Missouri, what population of folks have intellectual disabilities?
It varies, but right now probably landing on about 2.5% of the population have an intellectual disability. Now, just to be perfectly honest, we don't really turn away folks that have a disability, that whether they meet that criteria of an intellectual disability. A person with certain limitations with regards to functioning and other skills that would be the actual definition for those with intellectual disabilities. But in Missouri, if you take our population of approximately 6.2 million folks, that comes to about 155,000 Missourians that ballpark have an intellectual disability. So it truly is just working with those that have some type of disability, and there's different opportunities for those with disabilities. We recognize that, and we're not the only organization with that. So there's a lot of great volunteering opportunities and organizations for those with disabilities, but we kind of focus on those with intellectual disabilities. And then the sports is the draw, and we try to get them healthy and teaching them leadership skills and just being active, and then hopefully get in touch with those that can the available resources so they can become productive citizens and learn a trade so they can be employed, whether in a full-time or a part-time role, but just being part of the solution to work with them, specifically those with intellectual disabilities.
Well, let's put it out there. When we say intellectual disabilities, what are the common things people would say, oh, that's an intellectual disability?
Yeah, those with autism,
Okay.
those that have lacking of abilities that the traditionally or they used to call those with the MR, mental retardation, and that's something a term we don't really use anymore. But people think of that
Right.
to try to just stereotype. But if they've got a limitation or a disability that limits their ability to communication skills, critical thinking skills, to be able to just function productively. Those are folks that, hey, let's work together and be a part of the solution with those. So there's a lot of different components, a lot of different parts to it, but we're excited about the opportunities that we have to try to be a part of that solution going forward.
Now, how do folks come to you, or are you able to identify and then approach?
Yeah, we're kind of shift. Our approach has been traditionally. This is my third year, I guess, with Special Olympics. My background was in education. I was a school superintendent, and so this new shifting in this role, we're trying to be a little more proactive than maybe we had as an organization in the past. And that's not to put anybody down or that anybody was doing anything wrong. Just trying to be very proactive to reach those, to provide them the opportunities, because many folks do not even really know. Maybe they've heard of it, but again, they think that that's not for me. We're just trying to be a part of that solution, provide opportunities. One thing that we're doing that we're really excited about going forward is through our schools and, through our public school system here in Missouri. And that's, again, with my background being a school superintendent, we are going to be a part of our state activities association going forward, starting this next school year. Currently across the U.S., 47 of the 50 states has Special Olympics as a branch of their state activities association. And unfortunately, Missouri is one of the three currently that does not. Missouri, Wisconsin, and Mississippi currently do not have Special Olympics as a branch of their state activities association. So here you're in Kansas City, the Kansas City metro area, Kansas does, but we do not here in Missouri. But recently, the school superintendents and the ADs voted that passed. And so that's something that will be going forward starting this fall. So what that means, to answer your question, it's just we found out that many of our parents find that what's going to happen after their school-age children graduate high school and what's next. And some would say that it's not just bridging that gap from school-age or post-secondary school to adulthood. Some would say it's a cliff. And so we want to be a part of that solution of the opportunities. And so when we work with schools, we're going to hopefully be able to provide that transition period for opportunities through Special Olympics, to give them an opportunity to know what the opportunities are, to get them healthy, to get them active, to get them in touch with the resources there, to help them become productive citizens going forward. So that is through our schools, but right now they'll through state agencies. There's different opportunities through shelter workshops. There's different just for those with disabilities, and we're wanting to make sure that we have the connections and the resources with them to provide, hey, here's an opportunity. And maybe it's not for everyone. Like I said, there's a lot of different opportunities out there, and we just want to be part of the solution and do our part that we can help build that confidence for those with disabilities.
Well, how fantastic. Congratulations to you. That's quite a move. So I guess those years in education really paid off, huh?
Well, I hope so. It was more than just calling off school on a snow day, I guess. But no, I had a good experience with that. But we're excited about the future for those with disabilities, and we can help those get in touch with and connect with them just going forward.
What led you to Missouri Special Olympics? You said you served as a superintendent, which is the kingpin in education at a state level.
That's a great question. Special Olympics has always kind of been near and dear to my heart. I have a special needs nephew and special needs niece, and so it's kind of near and dear to my heart. And our state headquarters is here in Jefferson City, where the capital is. And I was school superintendent the last 7 years here within Jefferson City. So I was eligible to retire through the public school retirement system, which I'm blessed with that. And I was approached with the Special Olympics if I might have any interest. So at the end of the day, it worked out. We feel very blessed I'm just very grateful, and the opportunities that we have. It's very near and dear to my heart, and I miss the people through education. But other than that, it's been very rewarding for me just to be a part of the solution here and to work with those to build that confidence going forward.
Well, how lucky for Special Olympics Missouri to get you at the helm. Let's talk about though at the beginning, and I made the introduction. You've got all these sports that young people and adults can compete in. So tell us a little bit about that. But again, it's so much more.
Yeah, it truly is. And what I kind of touched on there, big picture wise, just how we can, the traditional hey, it's about sports. And if somebody didn't like sports, or again, I give them my kickball story, and maybe if they have a disability, maybe they didn't have a good experience in school, in elementary school or junior high or high school. And we recognize that, and we want to understand that, the importance, and maybe they're scarred with that. And that's real. And so we just want to encourage folks to be active, to get them healthy. One thing through our healthy athletes, and we have volunteer doctors across the state, including there in the Kansas City metro area, that they do health screenings and to try to get them the help, the help and the assistance they need, whether that's through our healthy eyes or hearing or dental. There's healthy feet. There's like 8 different components of that.
Mm-hmm.
And to try to get them healthy, that it's just so important for all of us to be healthy and to be active, and to address if they have a limitation through a health need or a concern that may need medication, may need therapy, may need whatever it may need. Those are all important parts. Just before we encourage folks to be healthy, we need to know, are there limitations? And obesity is something that is real for those with disabilities. So really trying to that healthy lifestyle of being active, health of what eating habits that we should all have, to try to encourage, again, being part of the solution for those. So getting them healthy, getting them active. We provide leadership opportunities as well. First of all, leading themselves and being able to take, being proactive with how they lead their life and not being reliant on someone else. Their disability may not allow that, or it may, or maybe there's so many varying levels of disabilities that we work with the caregivers, and whether that's a parent or a guardian or whoever it may be, just how we can help them provide the opportunities to be proactive, and then what opportunities they may have employment-wise. We've tried being active here within the Missouri state government and talking about how we're trying to bridge that gap because there's a shortage of workers, and we all know that. So we want to be a part of the solution there. We want to set them up for success. We don't want to place someone with a disability in an area that they might not be successful. So recognize what those limitations are and help them be the best version of themselves where they are. That's something that Ruth, you, me as Larry, we all need to be the best version of ourselves. And so that's something that we are just so excited about, some opportunities that we have as we work with those with disabilities. So getting them healthy, getting them active, teaching them leadership skills and leading themselves. And then whether we're providing the resources or getting them in touch with the resources to help them, again, be part of the solution and ultimately to be a productive citizen. That's what their quality of life and becoming a productive citizen is a part of it. So a lot of different wrinkles to it all, but at the end of the day, we're excited about the opportunities that we have and working with folks going forward with what those opportunities might consist of.
We're talking with Larry Linthacum. He is the man in charge, the CEO of Special Olympics Missouri, now 54 years strong and impacting lots of people. So in these programs, do you just put them that they're out there? You're now going to work with the school districts and whatnot. I'm just trying to, how you pull in not only those with intellectual disabilities, but you're pulling in a lot of other people. So it takes a village idea.
It truly does take village. We are so reliant. We have so many great volunteers. Statewide, we have 44 employees that are employed with Special Olympics Missouri, but we have so many volunteers, thousands coaches, volunteers, financial partners. We're a non-for-profit, so we have fundraisers. We have we're the charity of choice for the Missouri law enforcement since 1986. They have their law enforcement torch runs that are going on right now. We have our polar plunges. We have the Tippa Cops. They have we have partners that will have rooftops. We'll have our law enforcement will get on rooftops and they'll ask for donations with that. The state fair this fall, they're going to have where they can put a post-it on their vehicles and to make a donation and just to kind of create awareness. And we that partnership through our law enforcement is such an important component because we have so many great volunteers with that. So when you touch on that, it takes a village. It truly does. We have volunteer coaches. When we have our events, we have coming or recently just had here our summer games in Kirksville. That just took. I mean, it truly takes a village. The northeast part of the state, Truman State University, the city of Kirksville, truly coming together to have those events take place is truly it's inspiring. Honestly, there's research that says that those that volunteer live longer. So we want to encourage folks. Everybody wants to live longer, right? So get involved. If it's not Special Olympics, volunteer with somebody else. Those are all important components of that. Because we have three main big events throughout the year. We have our indoor games in the spring. That's primarily our bowling and basketball. Here a couple months ago, it was in St. Charles in the St. Louis metro area. We have our summer games this year, just had here in Kirksville in the northeast part of the state. Last year was in Columbia and partnered with the University of Missouri. And then in the fall, and with that, with our summer games, our track and field, the components, weightlifting, swimming is a big part of that. And then in the fall, we have our outdoor games. Last year was in Jefferson City. This fall, we're going to be in Springfield, partnering with Missouri State University, and they're in the southwest part of the state, but it is our statewide event that has softball, bocce ball, tennis. Bocce is one of our growing pickleball. That's a growing in popularity event. And so all of those, with those events throughout the year, are our statewide events. But we have regional events in each region. And then we have area events there in the Kansas City metro area. We have partnerships with, I know at UMKC, they have flag football and they have unified partners. And what a unified partner is, someone with a disability and without a disability that's on the same team. And what it really does is create that awareness. If I'm a unified participant in Special Olympics, means that I do not have a disability, but I'm on a team with somebody who does have a disability. So that is really growing rapidly. And we're just so excited about the opportunities that provides us going forward. So through all those, the opportunities that it provides. I see you have a Chiefs Kingdom there flag behind. Chiefs one.
Yes, I do.
Our big supporters. We're huge Chiefs fans, and they're one of our largest fundraisers is coming up here in a few weeks at the Andy Reid event. That is just Coach Reid he is a great supporter. I actually played for Coach Reid in college at Mizzou back in the day, a few months ago.
Very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, so it's a great event, basically to raise money, create awareness, educate folks on the opportunities that they have to whether to volunteer at an event or a financial partner or to coach or to be a unified partner to get involved with with our movement per se. We kind of kiddingly say that we were about inclusion before inclusion was a
cool.
deal. Yeah, because the old country song, I was country before country, it was cool. The same type of thing that we inclusion truly in the DE&I, you hear a lot about that on the news and DE&I, well, with inclusion. We were about inclusion since 1967 and here in Missouri since 1971. So everyone matters. We want to include all, whether you have a disability or not. There's just a lot of opportunities for that. And honestly, to make this world a better place. We're trying to make our state a better place, and there's enough negativity out there that we all recognize, but we're trying to be part of the solution here going forward.
Well, you brought it up, so I will raise it. So we're living in very interesting times, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And there's been lots of noise with DEI, et cetera. So how are you all navigating through that and staying true to your mission without getting, lost with all the crazy.
Yeah, that's a great point. In my previous role as a school superintendent, there was a lot of there was some tension, some racial tension, critical race theory, some different things that I've kind of navigated through some of that, and I don't claim to be an expert by any means. But at the end of the day, everyone means everyone, and whether you have a disability or not, we're not going to apologize for that. We want to advocate for those with disabilities, and we want everyone to include everyone. Everyone does matter, and if folks get nervous when you talk about the word of inclusion, it's like, well, okay, what's the base word of inclusion? Include. Guess what? We need to include us all. So we try to, not to get in those conversations, but I welcome those because at the end of the day, we got to be able to have those difficult conversations as we work through all elements that let's just keep it what it is. And it's, everybody means everybody. If you have a disability, you deserve the same opportunities as everybody else. And we firmly believe that. So that's really, we just stay the course. All means all. As a former school superintendent, the public school system, we didn't get to, discriminate against who comes through our doors. We're a public school system. There's tax, the residents pay their taxes and they come to our doors. Guess what? We're gonna welcome them with open arms, and the same thing with Special Olympics. So we honestly, when I say everyone and all means all, it truly does. And if you have a disability, we're here together. If you don't have a disability, well, let's work together as a unified partner, as a volunteer, as a coach, as a financial partner, how we can work together, because truly we're trying to make this world a better place. And we feel like we are, but we know we have so many more opportunities going forward, and to get more involved of the opportunities that are for all of us here going forward.
Well, amen to that. You all do a tremendous number of events. I was doing research for our show, and it's like, oh my gosh, the staff must be exhausted from all the things you're doing. I had the honor of coming to the event that you had Kansas City Chiefs George Karlaftis as part of, and he participated, I believe, in a camp or some activities in the morning with some of your athletes.
Right.
Talk about your events and the role they play with your serving this population.
Yeah, that's a great point. The Chiefs' recent success that they've had it provides it opens a door. So I've been a Chiefs fan my whole life. I grew up in Northwest Missouri, and even when the Chiefs weren't very good, I've always been a Chiefs fan, but I'm excited about their success. But because of their success, it does open some doors just to provide an opportunity to come here and a George Karlaftis draw, the Patrick Mahomes Foundation. He's a supporter of Special Olympics Missouri. Those open doors that might create excitement to encourage someone to get involved that maybe hasn't in the past. So that's what's really neat about those opportunities going forward to really encourage folks to be active. So you touch on an event. We have the George Karlaftis event in the camp. Well, that created excitement through George Karlaftis. He's such a supporter, and I believe such a kind-hearted man, and he's a great football player as well. But we're excited about that, and to encourage more folks to get involved, to coach, to volunteer, all those different opportunities that we have. So because we do have a lot of events, and it does take a village, it truly does. It's not just, oh, we'll have an event, no big deal, that it just, flip a switch. We have great staff that truly do a tremendous job of coordinating that. And then as they work with our coaches and our volunteers that are volunteering their time, it truly does take a village. So we're excited about that that team approach, collaboration, collaborative leadership is something that I believe in, that we're truly in this together, and to get everyone rowing in the same direction, because a rising tide does lift all boats, and that synergy is real. And sometimes 1 + 1 + 1 might equal 3, but if you're rowing in the same direction, that 1 + 1 + 1 might be a little bit more than 3. You have synergy, you have harmony. I've been a music fan as well. That harmony that just grows, and when we have harmony, at the end of the day, those with disabilities, they benefit from that. But not only those, all of us together, whether we have a disability or not, can have that harmony going forward.
I was really impressed at that particular event. There was a mom and her grown daughter who had intellectual disabilities, and they talked about not only the daughter and how she's benefited from all of this, but the mom shared how she's benefited from all of it. This involvement with Special Olympics. Do you find that is kind of part of the drill and very common?
Well, it truly just kind of happens naturally. And it's hard to explain, but if we can encourage folks to just come volunteer once, and I'm not saying we always get them hooked, but it truly is just here's an example. So one of the first events that I went to was we had a flag football game that I went to. And this is as I started here in the summer of 22 as CEO. And sports has been a big part of my life, and I coach, and I have children involved in college athletics, so it's been a big part of my life, and it was for me as well. And I went to a flag football game, and right at the very beginning of it, the game had started, and one of the athletes waved their arms, asked the officials to stop the game, and so they did. They blew their whistle, and the athlete on defense got down on his knee with the athlete the football player that he was guarding, and his shoe was untied. And so he tied his shoe. He stood back up to guard. He said, "Okay, now we're good to go." And it just really spoke to me about how just the true heart of wanting to help someone that this athlete had. And I came from the world of the competition, competitive. I'd been a head football coach years ago before I got into administration, and had played college football and had just involved with that. My mindset naturally is, oh, this guy's got his shoes untied. Okay, hey, here's a weakness. We need to take advantage of this. We can exploit that. But it was true, genuine of, no, hold on here. I want to tie their shoe because, they might trip, they might fall. And so those type of examples we have so many of those examples that just naturally evolve and come out, that in a day and age of a lot of negativity, you turn on the news, we touched on there, a lot of noise, and those things are real. We're not going to deny them or to try to just like they're no big deal, because they are a big deal, and for reasons, whether you agree or not, we don't need to get in that debate. But we truly feel like that we are making this world a better place, and just the opportunities that exist because of that. Because I had someone tell me sometime they'd said that somebody said they felt sorry for one of our athletes, and they're like, you don't need to feel sorry for them. Like, their attitudes, I feel sorry for those folks that don't have the good attitude, because they're making the best. They persevere. They make the best of their opportunities. They have such a great outlook and perspective on life. It truly is just it warms your heart. And if you're having a bad day, go volunteer somewhere. And when you see their perspective, you can you know what? Maybe I don't have things quite so bad. So it truly is. It's those opportunities that you touched on there, or the mother that had given her speech, how it changed her life. It truly is life-changing, not only for our athletes, but for those without disabilities that get involved. And that's why, honestly, our law enforcement here in Missouri, and the torch runs and the polar plunges, it's been life-changing. They get involved, and it's changed their lives. And you hear stories over and over. Our law enforcement, when they put the medal on our athletes at one of our events, after, just how, and they get a hug, and then they get a high five, that it's so genuine and authentic and real, that it's like, I'm doing my part to make this world a better place. So it's been encouraging for us all, just being a part of that.
Well, thank you for doing the work you do. I want to encourage folks, if you're in and around the Missouri side of the state line, go to somo.org, and you'll find about all the opportunities you can volunteer and engage and truly, give back in the community. And we're so grateful for the work you do. Thank you for spending this time with us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. And if you are on the Kansas side, there's opportunities on the Kansas side as well, with the Special Olympics Kansas as well. So they do great things. We're trying to do great things, try to work together. And so we encourage that if it's not Special Olympics on the Kansas side or the Missouri side, to get involved, be part of the solution to make this world a better place. And we appreciate what you guys do here at Kansas City Cares and just the opportunity to kind of talk about it. It's always exciting to talk about Special Olympics in Missouri and the opportunities that we have.
Thank you for joining us for KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice, and we're produced by a nonprofit called Charitable Communications. This KC Cares segment was brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. Now, if you'd like to be a guest on KC Cares, check out our website, kccaresonline.org, and spread the love. You'll find us on Facebook and Twitter at KC Cares Radio and on Instagram at KC Cares Online. And don't forget, you can catch us Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on ESPN 1510 a.m. and 94.5 FM. Thanks for joining us on KC Cares.